got a chance to see Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And thank you for joining me today as we're going to talk about Mission Impossible. Before you do, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't subscribe, please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And if you can, share this video out there, it would be appreciated as well. I'm going to be back doing a few things here and there. I'm not sure if I'm going to be going back daily yet because I just wrapped yesterday. That's why I wasn't able to go see Dead Final Reckoning yesterday. I had to wait until today, Friday. So I just got back tonight from watching that. And yeah, I generally enjoyed the movie. Remember, too, that I am a writer myself. So if you'd like to check anything that I've written, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name, Frank Zanka, and you'll see a bunch of the stuff that I have written, including Destiny Aurora, my 4-novel sci-fi series. I also have my fantasy series, or fantasy book. I don't have a series of that just yet. Tales of Ravenor the Iron Witch. And I am writing a new book right now called Battle for the Ruby Slippers, and I have now launched the pre-page for the Fairy Tales of Terror. So you can also check out the link. I will put a QR code up on the screen if you want to hop over there and sign up about when we launch, so you can get a bunch of the early bird specials and things like that. All right, so let's jump into Mission Impossible. This is, I don't know if this is going to be the final one or not. If not, I do like the setup of the new team. But first, I want to tell you that anybody who was thinking that Elsa might resurrect and be in here, that did not happen, unfortunately. I'm going to do non-spoilers, but I'm just letting you know that if you were hoping that Ilsa was going to show up in this movie, she did not. So I was a little bit disappointed too. I kind of thought that piece in the last movie was, kind of planned, and she was going to just jump out, but it didn't happen. She is officially gone. They did not even address it in this movie. Where I thought maybe that we'd see a flashback or something. Nothing. Rebecca Ferguson is not making an appearance in any way, shape, or form in this film. Kind of disappointed with that. Overall, I thought that the movie was generally good, but it has a very, very different tone from the last one, from Dead Reckoning. Which I watched. I was watching it again even this morning, just to give me kind of a refresher. But it had that one had a lot of action in it. Plus, you had the introduction of Haley Atwell's character Grace, and it was kind of like a fish out of water here because she wasn't used to the whole spy thing. He was chasing after her, which made for some fun moments. Plus, we had the whole European small car scene, which I absolutely love. And then we had the whole train scene at the end. You had Vanessa Kirby in there basically playing 2 roles because they used her as a mask. So they had some really, really good stuff in the last one. This one, I think the last one was just fun and action where, just a MacGuffin, let's get the key. Where this one is a little bit more serious because this is the repercussion if they don't accomplish the mission. Basically, the entity, and this is the basic storyline here, is that the entity has now taken control of all of the nuclear arsenals, or slowly taking control of the nuclear arsenals throughout the major 7 or 8 countries throughout the world. and America being last. So the president has to make a decision about what's going to happen. Uh, how is the United States going to respond to this? You get all of the main cast back for the most part. So you have Ving Rhames come back, and Simon Pegg, and even Pom Klementieff, who I thought was dead in the last one, but apparently did not die. So she has a big scar. They make sure to see the big scar in her stomach. But I guess she's supposed to be the replacement now for Rebecca Ferguson, and there's just no comparison. She does some really good fight scenes, great fight scenes, but unfortunately, they don't give her enough personality to live up to Rebecca Ferguson. It's night and day. Because the writing, and I have watched some other people's reviews of this, and I agree with what they're saying. I'm not going to say I don't agree. But they tried to do something different, and I kind of give them that it's they didn't try to do the same thing all over again. It's funny that they also put him on an aircraft carrier, so that's like Top Gun here. They put him in a submarine, so it does all that stuff. So they do a lot of naval stuff in here. So originally he has to go from a aircraft carrier where he meets Admiral Neely, who is Hannah Waddington, who is from Sex Education. She played one of the moms of one of the jocks in Sex Education. She also plays a voice in Lilo and Stitch, so she technically has 2 movies out right now. It is. I like Pom Klementieff a lot. I really wish they had given her more of a character in this. The writing, I do agree that the writing here does lack, but the stakes are incredibly high in this one, and they keep having to revert back to what's happening on that side. Esai Morales comes back as Gabriel, and then you got some other guys as well. You got Angela Bassett, who's playing. She basically returns as the president, because I think she's the president in the last one as well. We just don't really see a whole lot of her. What I like Trammell Tillman, who played Captain Bloodsoe. He's from Hunter. He did a lot of TV. I don't really recognize anything else that he did, but I really like his character in here and the way he played it. Some of his facial expressions and stuff like that, I really liked. I don't know why they didn't bring back. I think she's Israeli. She's some kind of Saudi, Middle Eastern of some kind, but she's British. She was in that opening sequence in the first one with the debrief, and they didn't bring back. They didn't bring her back. Instead, they brought in Janet McTeer, I was just watching in Mobland. So she plays basically that role. But again, I don't know. The other one may have been busy, so they brought somebody else in. But it's funny that I just saw her in Mobland. But she's been around forever. She was just in The Menu. She was in Ozark. She was in Jessica Jones. She's just done a pile of stuff. But again, the feeling of the film is different because it's not the fun, humorous thing, because you do have this overhanging consequence if they don't accomplish the mission. So it is a little bit more drama based. It is very, very long. It's almost 3 hours long. The last one was almost 3 hours too. It was like 2 hours and 41 minutes. Was 2 hours and 49. So it's a little bit longer than the last one. But it does feel dragged out because of the fact that there is a lot of expo dump. There is a lot of Let me explain everything to you. I do like how they took a couple of characters and from the previous early movies and kind of put them in here. I like that a lot. I thought that the callback was really, really good. I thought it was a good idea. But overall, the writing here is lacking in comparison to some of the Mission Impossibles. But there is some edge of your seat stuff here. It doesn't have as many action scenes in here. There is one fight scene. There is only really one fight scene, as far as I know. There's one fight scene where we have a cut back and forth between the group of characters. I thought that was really good. I thought that was one of my favorite scenes right there. And then, of course, we have the scene in the airplane that's at the end. That's in all the posters and stuff like that. I love Mission Impossible. In fact, this is my Ethan Hunt here. I thought they did a really good job on the face, but I had to basically put him together because I had to buy the head separately from the body, and I had to buy the clothes separately and stuff like that. But so you can't just buy the figure. But I think I did a good job of putting all the pieces together with that. I really like that figure. But anyway, I've been a fan of Mission Impossible since I was a kid. I was watching all those reruns, when I was a kid. So along with Star Trek. So when the movies started coming out, and now this is what 7, 8. I don't even know what number this is, but it's been a bunch, and I love them. I can watch them all. I know that some people don't even like number 2, but I like number 2. I think number 1 is actually the weakest one, but it was a building situation. Some of the ones in the middle, like Fallout, is really good. There's a bunch of them that are really good. So I wouldn't count this as high up on the rank. I really like the last one too. I would rank the last one pretty high, but I wouldn't rank this one on the bottom. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. So it has some good stuff in it. Plus, we don't get the Haley Atwell character out of water situation here because now it's a few months later. She actually fights in this one too. So I assume that she went through a few months of training because she really couldn't fight in the last one because she was basically a thief. And now she's IMF. But yeah, and again, I like the new team. It almost looks like she's the leader of the new team. She makes a lot of the decisions, even though Benji's there as well. He basically tells Benji to lead the team, but Grace goes in there and she's actually making decisions. So it almost looks like she's the leader. Kittredge is back. There's a whole everybody's back. And then I just was watching something with Holt. I think it was Black Bag that Holt McClaney was in there, and he's in this one as well. And Nick Offerman has a really good scene in here too, but it is drawn out. Like I picked out at least 20 minutes that could have been cut here, at least 20. So I don't understand why they didn't cut it down and make it tighter. There's really the part in the sub could have that's way drawn out. The biplane scene was also way drawn out. You could have cut that back a little bit. Scene with a flashback with Ving Rhames, it didn't need to be there at all, not at all, and it was like a 5-minute scene. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that could have been cut out. Where you could have made this at least 2.5 hours, if not less. So, but yeah, overall, I enjoy the characters. I enjoy them, figuring stuff out. I enjoy the banter, and I enjoy the action. And again, I thought the end here was pretty. I didn't really know what Angela Bassett was going to do. So there was some edge of your stuff, edge of your seat stuff. And especially the stuff on the plane, you're like, oh my God, what are you doing? But yeah, and the new additions I think are good as well. Again, I wish they had given Pom Klementieff more of a character to play with, especially if she's trying to compete with Rebecca Ferguson's character. With her missing, it feels like something's missing. She was an added thing because also there was a budding relationship between her character and Ethan. And I really thought in one piece here, Grace and Ethan were going to kiss. It was all open for it, and I don't know why they didn't do it. There was no reason for them not to do it. And especially now with Rebecca Ferguson gone, that relationship could have been filled. Now, I think that again we have a four talk. Let's talk about the actual budget. It was shot in many parts of the world, but they're saying too that it was due to COVID and stuff like that. That the balloon of the budget happened, and it's up to 400. That's what it's been. That's what they're telling us. When I looked it up, $400 million for this budget, plus like $100 million in marketing. That's $500 million. So you got to double that for it to hit the break even number, and we're talking about $1 billion. And the last one only made $500 million, or the close to $6 billion. I know that there was a bond involved, so they didn't lose as much money because the bond kicked in. But still, I know that they probably did some pre-sales and stuff like that, but nothing to the extent of $1 billion. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens here, especially when it's going up. The theater was full. I mean, it was full. And I was in IMAX. So, I mean, there was rows and rows and rows. It's a huge theater. It's a several hundred person theater. And it was full. There was a couple of rows in the front weren't full, but for the most part, everything else was full. And I gotta say, nobody turned their phones on. The guy next to me was reading a couple of texts or emails, but again, he had the thing turned down, but he only did it like maybe 3 times. So I was very proud of everybody because I really expected to see phones everywhere, especially with that many people, and there wasn't. Everybody was pretty engaged. Rotten Tomatoes is showing it as an audience score of like 90%. Again, there's a lot of people that are reviewing this film that are not happy with it. But I'm not one of those. I do think it was more mediocre than some of the other installments. But we'll see what happens because I know Lilo and Stitch, of course, is out. And the kids were everywhere. So the theater was full. Every theater had, and then, of course, we probably had Sinners was probably still bringing in people. So the theaters, I think, are going to have a good holiday weekend, which is great. And but I don't think that Mission Impossible is going to be able to hit $1 billion. I think Lilo and Stitch will. And Disney is toting $100 million budget, which is probably not true. But even if it's double that and $100 million in marketing on that, as 300, that's only $600 million that thing has to make. Let's even just make it even easy and make it 5. That thing's going to make $1 billion. I don't think Mission Impossible can carry anything over $500 million anymore. And then when he leaves, let's say the thing continues without him in it, I think they're going to have to lower. Plus, who's going to do the stunts like that anymore, right? Because he does all his own stunts, but when he leaves, because he's close to 60 years old, how much more can he do? But when he leaves, who's going to be able to do those stunts? Definitely not Simon Pegg. So anyway, we'll see what happens, what the future of Mission Impossible is. Maybe they'll take a break and then just kind of reboot the whole thing. I don't know. Either way, I will miss the characters. I really enjoy them coming back every year or year and a half. I think it's more of a year and a half before they come back every between installments. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Overall, I'm going to probably say this is between a 7.5 and an 8. We can stick with 7.5. It's good, not great, but it's definitely not bad. It's definitely not bad. It's completely enjoyable. A little long. Writing's a little loose, but the characters and the acting are great. And if you like the other Mission Impossible movies, you're going to like this. As simple as that. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to, again, give me that like, give me that subscribe. Also, I will put the QR code in here. I'll put a link in the description below as well for not only my Amazon, but for the Kickstarter pre-launch page. If you want to sign up there, go ahead and do that. I want to get at least a couple hundred people in there, so if you can add to that, it'd be great. All right, I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Have a great week.